Ladies and gentlemen, Yuri, and this is the insane story of Red Alert, terribly summarized by the channel Alternate History Hub. It's been a while since I did an Alternate History Hub video, but yeah, this is Red Alert. I saw the Bricky video. What did I see something? No, I think I just saw the two Bricky videos, right? One of them was Kane's Wrath, which is not Red Alert. It's just other Command and Conquer game, and the second one I watched was. Of Bricky. Did I watch another one Red Alert video from what? Didn't I do the Uber Danger video? I don't know. But yeah. So Red Alert is ridiculous, right? It's like a parody version in Command and Conquer, apparently like Borderlands type of things, which is good. I like that. Pre-2008 EA was good in a way, right? Yeah, I guess so. Because before that, I mean, the developers actually, did things out of what they needed to do. So they could have just made some like Kane's Wrath type of games, but no, they also created a series called Red Alert, which is like, a fun, light, parody style things. So yeah, apparently there is also a story of it. I guess the story is just like, how, I guess what Brickish said about killed Albert Einstein, so there was no nukes or whatever that shit was. Why go after Einstein, man? This is the most funny thing for me, because they actually went after the scientist, like fuck it. Usually it's just like invaded some country, did something, but just kill specifically Albert Einstein, which is awesome. Or let's always one. And also the stars, right? In Red Alert 3, all the fucking stars, Ric Flair, all the different type of, I guess good enough names, which you would not think like, okay, 1, 2, but this many in a game, and that old game, the big stars in game has become a recent thing. But yeah, there's always one.
What makes a man? Is it his wealth, his looks, the love of his friends and family? Wrong. All those are wrong. There is only one thing that truly defines a man.
Of course it's this music.
I use alternate history in my videos to discuss real-world questions. Makes us think about how we got to where we are today. Perspective on how events shape who we are as people. Nations, cultures. This isn't one of those videos. We're going to talk about another part of alternate history. The part where giant Japanese samurai mechs invade Berlin, where Hitler is killed by a handshake, where cutscenes look like they were filmed for an 80s porno. When I was 10, I didn't care, it all blew my freaking mind. Command and Conquer.
The music, oh god.
Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's okay. I don't blame you for not knowing. CNC hasn't been that relevant this decade, since EA drove the franchise into an early grave like it was gonna talk.
Strategy game, economy will be the focus. We have a harvester to start things off. Nothing too crazy yet.
Nothing too crazy.
I'm escaping to the one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism. Space!
I want to enlighten you on a blessed series that...
Okay, I refuse to believe they didn't practice 5 times before saying that. People might think that, okay, he was not paying them, that's why he was laughing, like he wasn't part of the script. No, I think it deliberately said it like that. That's fucking iconic right there.
Placed the seed of that alternate history craziness into my young, impressionable mind. The Red Alert series. Is it realistic? No. Does it have to be? Of course not. This isn't really a video about lore, since there really isn't a lot of it. Or maybe I just want to talk about it. It's my channel, who cares? Most
1996,
people agree
damn.
World War II wasn't the best time. And in a post-war 1946, in the middle of the desert, the man himself, Albert Einstein, wanted to live in a world where such a tragedy never occurred. And so he came up with an idea, a machine to travel through time. And he built that machine to travel back in time to undo
Just like
the future that is a coup. Or, Hitler. He goes back in time and
Just like that, fuck it, I just, all the World War II happened and he didn't like living there, so that's why he invented time machine, like he could have done it at any time. Fuck it.
Kills Hitler before he can mess everything up. But Cody, if he went back in time to kill Hitler and everything changed, then why would he ever need to go back if he came from a present that never heard of Hitler? It's a strategy game from the 90s. Don't think about it. Because Hitler now never came to power, instead of Nazi Germany waging war against...
Yeah, the paradox of time travel. I think it's not much of paradox. I think, we have this kind of a sense of seeing the timeline and cause and effect. That's why we think like that. But if we start to fuck with time, I guess it would just become something like a, I don't know, phantom in a way, right? Like, why would you go back in time if Hitler never existed in the first place? Because the person who went back in time has become this kind of a phantom thing, right? Exists but doesn't exist, but still did what he did, right? The timeline got erased or something. That, after reading about how there are virtual particles and shit like that, that doesn't feel that far-fetched to me. Quantum world is so fucked up, none of that feel far-fetched to me.
Everyone causing World War II, the Soviet Union decides to invade all of Europe. Each Command & Conquer game has multiple endings because you can play as both sides, and since there's multiple games, well, some endings just aren't going to be canon. If you play as the Soviets...
What the fuck? Is that Sylvester Stallone? Looking like Stalin? This is ridiculous.
If you play as the Soviets, then hot dog congrats, baby. You get to lead the invasion of Europe, country by country, using your...
I'm pretty sure that's not Sylvester Stallone, but that's how he looked like, right? It's not just me, it's ridiculous.
Strangely advanced technology like iron curtains and Tesla coils as you slowly make your way to stop Brexit. Along the way, your contemporaries will die, but because you are the main player, you survive Stalin's wrath, drunkenness, way with women, by playing the game well. Oh, Stalin, you have such a way with words. By the conclusion, you have successfully conquered Britain. The USSR now controls all of Europe. As for Stalin, oops. Well, what about the Allied campaign? As commander, you successfully beat back the Soviets, using their own weapons against them, preventing them from bombing Britain. You've seen enough of these resistance storylines, you can kinda get the deal. Poor Stalin, boy just can't catch a break. There really isn't much to be said because the plot doesn't really matter. The state of the world is either going to be Allies win or Soviets win. But the games do pick a favorite because you can't just have the Soviets win. That would be boring.
This is Dugan.
Hey, Alex, it's me, Reggie.
So I guess he's not just doing one, he's doing all three of them. That's going to be great. Yeah, I guess Red Alert, one thing must be true, that Allies somewhat have an upper hand because they have to, right? They can't just show, communist winning or something. I'm pretty sure that was the case with Red Alert 3. I don't know about first and second.
It's been 30 years since the end of the war, and what do you know, we're going with the Allied victory plot, which means this is how Stalin died, and the Allies replaced him with...
So all the story continues in the next game. It's continuity there. It's not like the whole different game with a whole different universe.
A puppet called Alexander Romanov. If you can't tell by the name, he's a descendant of the Romanovs that the Soviets overthrew in the first place.
How is he? Everybody died. How is he a descendant?
Introduce you to my little friend. He's his son.
Well, wouldn't you know it, the Soviets invade again and the US president finds out in a pretty casual way.
We're supposed to be allies, you maniac. I'm the one that put you into office.
Listen very carefully. I am not your pet, Mr. President. We Romanovs have our legacy to consider.
I don't give a wooden nickel about your legacy.
Yeah, Soviets killed your family. I guess that's your legacy. And you're a Soviet now.
Yeah, I'd react somewhat mildly annoyed finding out the US is getting invaded on two fronts as well.
I don't give a wooden nickel about your legacy.
The US try to use their nukes, except they can't, because Yuri the Psychic.
Yeah, a god told Bush that we are under attack and he just sat there reading stories. So I guess that's not far-fetched. That's how a president would react, apparently.
Yes, there are psychics, don't question it. Yuri gives the top secret nuclear bases a call and brainwashes them to do this.
Or they'll explode under... The silo doors are closed.
And thus begins our conflict. Alright, you know the drill. 2 campaigns, 2 out.
Okay, don't want to pause too much, but that strategy wouldn't work at that level. Anybody who handles nuke, they would rather get shot than launch it, because their consciousness cannot take it, right? That was the case with the Cuban Missile Crisis, right? The submarine was, kind of supposed to attack, but they didn't, because they'd rather be, surrender, die, or whatever, than, miscommunicate that shit. So every evil movie where somebody just points the gun, like, launch it now and kill everybody. No, they would rather get shot. That would never happen.
Comes. Let's do it. Well, what's a good old boy to do? The Reds are on your shore, Commander. After taking a few places back from the Soviets, including the Statue of Liberty, which really has no strategic importance, that old scoundrel Yuri uses mind control on the president and the top generals.
The war is over. What I've come to realize is that the commies and us want the same things. You know, female
I don't think we need to hear any more of that.
So how'd Yuri do it? Well, he created a psychic beacon, which does pretty much what it sounds like. They build one in Chicago. Gotta go stop them. Ah, darn.
The United States was Romanov's first target. Join our fight.
What the fuck is happening?
Or we will not be his last.
So after the European powers, somehow not under control of the Soviets, even though the Soviets now control the US, decide, hey, maybe we...
So this... Okay, so somehow Soviet fucked up entire United States, and apparently Allies supposed to help. How?
We should help.
How the fuck they went to the US and attacked them, and everybody in the between is fine in Europe?
They hop on board with the Americans. The best way to take the Soviets down is to chop the head off, of course. And guess who's going to help with that?
I have something to, how shall we say, even the score, yeah?
Guess that time traveling added 20 years to his life. And made him look like Lou Albano.
And if you do drugs, you go to hell before you die.
So you take DC back, retake some places in the US, and now are tasked to help Einstein as he creates a chronosphere. Pretty much the same machine as last game, but this time it can transportate anything. Plot twist, you transport your forces into Moscow, capture the city, and sneaky Romanov himself. So what about...
I like how in literally a split second he changed the scene right there, because can't show too much of ass.
About the Soviet campaign? Well, there isn't much different, except you conquer a little bit of Europe, have a little fun in Paris and Tesla coils, Yuri overthrows Romanov, leading to you, the commander, now fighting against him. In the end, Yuri is defeated, nuked. All that is left is his brain, for some reason. But hey, at least now that everyone else is gone, you are the sole leader of the Soviet Union. Congrats, comrade.
What the devil is going on, Lieutenant?
He's surfaced, Mr. President. I'm sure you all recognize this man.
This is an expansion that takes place after the Allied victory. And it's something. Let's just go through this in a nice, neat order. Old Yuri is up to his old shenanigans again. After building mind control devices across the entire world, he basically brainwashes everybody. So what do?
I believe we can use it to transport your forces backwards in time.
Pull an endgame, of course. Your forces travel back in time to the start of Red Alert 2 when the Soviets are invading. Yuri is still brainwashing everybody, but using Hollywood and subliminal messages.
He's begun to use the media to spread subliminal propaganda. Here's a sample, with the subliminal mind control properties filtered out.
Hello, I'm a nostalgia critic. Gotta remember it so you don't have to.
Turns out knockoff Bill Gates is in trouble because Yuri is threatening to nuke him unless he gives him money. Lou Albano is involved again. The war ends with the Soviets and Americans banding together to fight Yuri. Yuri is captured in his secret Antarctica base, and bing bang boom, he's defeated.
Thanks to you, Commander, he won't be able to mind control a fly.
Oh yeah, then the timelines merge for some reason.
What?
The Soviet campaign isn't that different, except Yuri is defeated by the Russians, and you, the commander, are the sole leader of the Soviet-dominated world. Yuri tries to escape in his own time machine, and is ate by a T-Rex.
This is gold. Yeah, that shit is gold right there. Time travels, just that dinosaur eats him. Oh god. See, they're trying to be as ridiculous as they can.
Cannot be serious. Come, Comrade General. A new world order awaits.
Oh boy, it's the
Finally,
end
it
of Red
comes.
Alert 2, or 1. Really any Allied campaign in this timeline, and the Soviets are once again on the brink of defeat. What's a leader to do? What's a Tim Curry to do? Simple.
Time machine.
Hey, I've seen this one. This is a classic.
Pull an Einstein and travel back in time to kill Einstein. Didn't see that coming, did you, old man? You see, Einstein was what allowed the Allies to...
Alright. I'm glad I watched the video because this kind of clears shit up. Because of Red Alert 1 and 2, Einstein was kind of a key figure, and that's why they killed Einstein. Because if I just saw the Red Alert 3 thing, like, why the fuck they kill Einstein? Where'd that come from? Because he was such a main thing in first and second. Yeah, it kind of makes sense. If you kill Einstein, most of the shit that happened wouldn't happen.
to have their powerful weapons, their nukes, their transportation machines, their diabetes. If Einstein is gone, then the Soviets will have an advantage, and in no way would anything possibly go wrong. We created weebs. Yes, that's right. In a world without atomic bombs, somehow the Japanese Empire was able to rise out of horrendous, crushing defeat to become the Empire of the Rising Sun. Even though the Soviets invading Manchuria was actually the main reason for their surrender.
Reality, if there was no nukes, Americans would have invaded Japan. A ridiculous amount of people would have died because their honor thing, right? Wouldn't give up or whatever that was. That's why the kamikaze thing became too much, right? That's what the casualty rates would be ridiculous. So if anything, they would have collapsed Japan at a ridiculous level, right? That's what would happen. Not that they would rise up again, but yeah.
The bombs, but that's okay. No nukes means anime mechs. Alright, why not? Thanks, Tim Curry, you ruined everything.
Our situation is shockingly grim.
So yeah, there's 3 campaigns in this game. All of them are not that deep, considering a certain company took over, and there's one more campaign now.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, so EA... Command & Conquer wasn't part of EA before. They took over in the mid-2000s. Is that it? Right, I'm pretty sure Ricky said something like that.
Soviets are in control of Europe, and Britain, once again, is the last bastion. Gotta just go with what you know, I guess. Typical events happen. You, once again, beat back the Soviets. This time with measles. In the most realistic part of this whole franchise, the Allies and Soviets set aside their differences to fight against anime. Japan is soon pushed back. President Ackerman, and yes, this is J.K. Simmons' most defining role,
Vote for me if you want to live.
goes full helicopter rides and betrays the Soviets.
None of you have the guts to do what needs to be done, so I'm gonna wipe those Soviets off this earth myself.
Using a laser coming out of Mount Rushmore. Poor Teddy. Oh yeah, so allies fight amongst each other.
Whenever they talk about American prides, at least there is one reference of Mount Rushmore. So they just thought, fuck it, I'm just going to create a laser that comes out of one of the heads from Mount Rushmore. Because that's as comic as it can get.
And Jenny McCarthy kills the president. I think she had a child sneeze on him. Well, the Soviets betray you anyway. After some transportation into Leningrad, gee, where did I see this before? Both leaders are imprisoned in ice, and the vice president of the U.S. takes over.
I will take the reins of this great country, and together we will march forward into a bright and prosperous future.
You done good, Hasselhoff. You done.
Seriously.
Ow.
So Ackerman's little bout of patriotism transcends timelines, I guess, and there's still a war on 3 fronts. Somehow Japan has a front in Leningrad and Moscow. Flying fortresses beat geography and logistics, I guess, but moving on. After some shenanigans, some betrayal, some fun times, the Soviets decide that they need to assassinate the Emperor.
Did you think it would be so easy?
But George Takei isn't going down without a fight. And then, the greatest betrayal of all.
Thank you, Commander, for so thoroughly and brutally dispatching my enemies. But now I'm afraid you have outlived your usefulness.
Thought we were friends, Tim Curry. I did everything for you, and this is how you
So I guess in every game we are a commander or something. When we played, we are a one person, I guess. I thought it was going to be something like Hearts of Iron 4 or something. We are, I guess, it's not defined. We are part of, we are a country, we are a government, whatever. I guess we are just witnessing, you know, Tim Curry basically doing his thing rather than we are actual person, apparently. I didn't know that.
repay me. Leaders betraying everyone really seems to be the running thing in this game. Well, Tim Curry is beat on his real-life volcano fortress.
This is my timeline.
And all is resolved. Huh. That was easy. Once again, you control the Soviet Union. But oh no, here comes the...
Yeah, EA is like Netflix. Oh, it's not doing well, cancel it. Ugh. I hate their shit. When there is no continuity, it's just like your whole brand dies. That's why people are starting to hate Netflix as well. They create all these series, end in a cliffhanger, they just end it. I'm not saying just continue your shit by, sinking all your money in. But at least if you don't have a faith, tell the director to finish that particular story. If there's going to be season 2, you'll add it somehow. But at least season 1 finishes things. Creating a massive cliffhanger and then cancel sitting there like, what the fuck, man? I'm afraid of watching any series of Netflix because I get invested and then realize, oh, there was only 2 seasons. Third isn't there, I guess. Yeah, there you go. Red Alert, fucking awesome. I hope there's going to be Red Alert 4 in the future because this is that day. This is the media peak of games. Games are becoming much more and more and more. Their money is getting bigger and bigger. People are making way too much money with games now. Games are becoming shows. Holy shit, there's going to be Fallout shows. There's already Last of Us, right? Which is fine, I guess. Pascal's in that one. I'm like, fuck it. I'm watch it. So, the overall, it's just becoming bigger and bigger. And I think they will revive and start with Red Alert 4 at least because of this comic thing. If they don't make a common, Command and Conquer game, any other like Kane's or type of thing, at least they'll make another Red Alert. Just for the comic thing with the latest technology or whatever, because EA can do EA things for enough time. After that, people will be pissed and they'll go into damage control somewhat, and they'll try to please people by bringing on back the old thing, right? They said Mass Effect is done, but it isn't, right? Mass Effect 4 is in the way, right? They announced it because of this. They're trying to repair their image, so that's gonna happen. I hope that's gonna happen, but yeah. Alright, well, that was the insane story of Red Alert, terribly summarized by the channel Alternate History Hub. If you like my next one, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.